Rise and shine to the morning light. Sister MJ brings the truth so bright. Health and nature in every sound. Feel the rhythm, let's get unbound. From Ahaya we get our power. Every herb, every healing flower. Sister MJ shows the way. Naturally living every day. Naturally you, naturally free, naturally living as God meant to be. Breathe the air that's fresh and pure. Nature's bounty is the cure. Sister MJ shows what's real in every word and every meal. From the mountains to the sea, every breath is harmony. Feel the beat and feel alive. With Sister MJ we thrive. Grains and fruits in every bite. Feel the energy, feel the light. Harmony in every part. Naturally you, with all your heart.
Shalom, 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 and welcome everyone. Shalom, Sister Dawn. I've missed you, sis. Ephraim, shalom, shalom, Arapika. Welcome everyone. I hope everyone has had a wonderful week, and you're all ready for tonight. Had a request for about autism and the vaccines and all that. So I wanted to pull it together that in a way that made sense. And I'm hoping that tonight, for those parents out there who are trying to figure out what to do, I hope this gives you some guidance. And for those, because a lot of us, when we came into the truth, we already had the vaccine. So we just moved from that point forward, but still we encounter a lot of the malay from the vaccine or from the shot. Let me just say the shot so that we don't get, it doesn't come up as that word, But I'm hoping that we can have a great conversation here. And for those mothers, young mothers who are out there now, please chime in, because I don't have all information. A lot of my information, the sources I used was the CHS, and that's Robert Kennedy. Before he was part of the Trump administration. He was doing a lot with the Children's Network, the Health Network. And so a lot of the information I got from there. Shalom, Sister Esteline and Sister Kim. We are discussing autism tonight and how it is upon us, the parents, to protect the children. As a mother, the best job I've ever had in life is being a mom. I loved every second being pregnant. It was such a beautiful thing. To me, it's our time to have a miracle with the Most High. Because, as we know, our spirit was born way before in the heavens. And then once the egg and the sperm unite and become fertilized, then we come in the form of, our little baby who was in heaven and now they came to earth. So it's going to be interesting, but let me get started because you know that time and me don't play. So let's get started. And I want to start off with this because, you know, we're told that it takes 9 months to have a baby. Well, I'm looking in scripture, and you know, we dwell with the Most High, so we go by that book. And Wisdom of Solomon 7, verse let's start at Wisdom of Solomon 7, verse 1 and 2. It says, I myself also am a mortal man, like to all, and the offspring of him that was first made of the earth. We came from the earth, right? The dust of the earth. And then he says, and in my mother's womb was fashioned to be flesh in the time of 10 months. 10 months. We're told 9 months. Right? But in scripture it says 10 months, being compacted in blood of the seed of man and the pleasure that came with sleep. Okay? I'm leaving it right there. The Most High put it in here and I'm just reading it to you. So I thought that was interesting because, you know, when we have this 9-month thing and so it makes you wonder, is every baby premature if we're born at 9 months instead of 10? And why do they push C-sections versus a natural delivery? It makes you wonder. One of those things that make you go, Well, as I said, we're discussing autism tonight. And our biggest, most important asset, our children, we have to protect them. The best way I know how is through just caring according to how the Most High told us, but also what we put in them, what we feed them, and what we nourish them with, not just with food, but mentally and spiritually. So looking at the baby, the embryo, 9 months, they're in the womb, 10 months, okay? And it's in water. Remember, water is we do with the heavens, with anything that's water, right? Whether it's the baby coming out of the womb in water, whether it's the rain, whether it's what we drink to sustain and hydrate our organs. You'll see what I'm talking about in a few. So let's talk about water, because to me, that's our real alignment. And we know that there's no coincidences here. So let's go do a little science, because the molecular structure of water is chaotic. Okay, it's chaotic by nature. But the Nobel Prize winning research tells us that in order for water and other liquids that we consume to be optimally absorbed, remember that word absorb, they need to be single file alignment. Now, if any of you remember, I talk about my water. I have a machine that takes my water from a chaotic state through its Geo Wellness, and it makes it single file. So that puts it in that state I'm talking about now. Now, single file alignment it helps the water molecules pass through your cell walls more efficiently. It hydrates our body more optimally, and the subtle SFA technology helps realign the liquids, making them 3 times more absorbable. Okay, understand that, 3 times more absorbable. And an instant favorite for those looking to address their hydration and nutrition absorption needs. Now, as I said, water normally moves chaotically in 3D, but in extremely narrow channels. And there's this thing called aquaporins in our cells, and that forces the molecules into a single file line. So I want you to think of it like this. you're in the playground. There's a bunch of children in the playground, right? And the bell rings. There's one door. They have to go in. All of them can't go in at one. But if they get in line, they can go in better, right? They make one single line and they can go in the door versus everybody rushing in at once. That is single file alignment. That's what it should look like. So this creates faster, more efficient flow. The proton relay conduction, it helps that move along better, and it gives you a order. The Most High is all about order, and I want you to keep that in mind. It's the most organized state water can take. The human body at birth, this everything in that baby, when that baby comes out inside, it is single file aligned. And here's the thing, we know that who we working with, the enemy here, they want to take it out of that structure and make it chaotic because that gives them a platform for dis-ease and everything else. So I want you to just make sure we connecting the dots here. Before life's you know, injuries and whatever else happens, the newborn baby body expresses a natural midline, a single file alignment at the core. So that refers to the cranial base, which that's the head. Then we have the spine, and we have the sacrum, and the central facial line, and then the energetic midline. I'm going very scientific for y'all, so don't freak out. But these structures, they're stacked, they're uncompensated, they symmetrically in line. The Most High designed it beautifully. I love to geek out on this stuff, but what he did, it makes it the body's original blueprint. And if you see that DNA strand there, that is the beauty of how he made us. And if we could just follow that blueprint in what we feed that baby, or let me back up, what we nourish ourselves with when we're pregnant, a lot of us go into the craving instead of thinking, I'm nourishing my baby. What do I need to do to nourish that baby? And again, hydration to me is one of the key components of that whole process. If we are not hydrated, that baby's not getting what it needs. You're not getting what it needs. And let's look at the definition. Nourishment is a nutrient is only as good as your body's ability to absorb, right? If single file is applied to every liquid nutritional product we develop and market, ensuring that each hand-picked ingredient can be optimally absorbed and utilized by our body, imagine how good we will feel. Again, nutrients, absorption is going hand in hand. It's going hand in hand. And I want to look at that whole process, the 9 months, 10 months, according to Wisdom of Solomon. In that womb, we are nourishing, and the mother is nourishing. The life support is that umbilical cord. That's why even today we can do so much healing in our body through that umbilical cord, because that was our life support. And it's after the birthing comes, then they clip that and cut it off. But sometimes, with natural childbirth, they try to leave the baby connected to that cord a little bit longer so they get all the nourishment from that cord versus cutting it and clipping it quickly. But that's a whole other discussion there. Okay, so moving on. We understand how important the hydration is. And when you when birthing happens, the first thing they want to do when the water breaks, right? That water that broke, that was single file water coming out of you, okay? And the first thing when the baby comes, you hear the cry. That lets you know, oh, the lungs are working, everything is clear. But they want to put something in the eyes. And they don't consider this a vaccination or inoculation. They consider it, what are they calling it? They consider it a cream they put on the eye. Now, I call it the vitamin K injection. They say it's not a vaccine, but it's given to prevent the hemorrhagic disease of the newborn. And if that baby just came out, why would the eyes be hemorrhaging? Why would it be disease? Make it make sense. Okay, make it make sense because in scripture, I believe it's 8 days and the child's eyes clear up and the focus comes in naturally. So we really don't need to be giving it any of this cream or this injection they put in the vitamin K shot because naturally it nature will do what it does. They also have this erythromycin eye ointment, again, not a vaccine, but it's required by many states to prevent neonatal eye infections. Again, in scripture, it's like in 8 days, the focus comes in and everything is fine. But we are working in a system that they have control based on media and the scare and fear they put into the mom, the woman, because they figure, oh, the baby. And the Most High already had this figured out from the beginning. They consider this a medication, not an immunization. Now, what I find is very interesting is that in today's 2026, remember we've had changes to the healthcare and all this, and the vaccine is not required anymore. They're saying, literally saying on the sites that the routine recommended immunization given to newborns at birth is no longer universally required under the updated federal schedule. We've been telling people that all along, but a lot of people say, oh, if you don't get that vaccine, your child's going to do this, your child's going to do that. But that's not the case. They have finally changed it. So you are right in your request. Nope, I choose not to do the vaccine. You are correct in that request as a parent because it's no longer required federally or universally, let's say. They have also, they, we have this thing that has happened over the years. I mean, what is the schedule? I think it was back in the 1970s that we started, or 80s, we saw more autism. We started hearing more about autism and everything. And it's gotten to the point where we're seeing, I believe the number was one, it used to be 1 in 50 with autism, and it's becoming more and more prevalent. So let's look at actually what is autism and what does it really mean to us. When you hear that a child is autistic, what does it mean? Remember, we used to see children with Down syndrome, and to me, autism is that scrambling of the brain, like how they were doing it with the Down syndrome, and now they've changed it and they've refined it by science. Shalom, Sister Nina, in the 90s. Okay, in the 90s. So they've taken that and it's become a thing for many, many children. And most of it, would you believe, guess who it affects the most? Although I don't believe this number totally because I see a lot of all genres of people, children having autism these days. But it really did start in the brown community, and it's becoming more prevalent throughout. And it looks like, what's the definition? Autism is a multifactorial neurological and developmental disorder that presents, excuse me, considerable challenges in social interaction, communication, medical health, and behavior. So let's look at that. Social interaction, yes, I could see that. And communication, yeah, if my brain cells were scrambled, I mean, we go through brain fog as adults. Doesn't it feel like it's scrambled? So that's what it feels like. Communication is a little bit challenging then. And medical health, I hesitate to believe anything that has two snakes on it. That's me. And I do believe in medicine because in scripture, was it Luke was a doctor? Was it Luke? I think it was Luke. And, back when the doctors came to the home and everything, and you had your family doctor for years until they died, and it was a whole different thing. Now it is a business, it's a billion dollar, trillion dollar industry. And we, being who we are as Israelites, we need to understand the war, the fight against us, and what we need to do about it as far as nourishing our children. Now that we have this diagnosis on them, let's backtrack and see, as a mother, when you were pregnant, what did you put in your body? Okay, because nutrition is the key to all of it. And then also, what after you had the baby and you're breastfeeding, what are you feeding your body? And are you, because you are breastfeeding, a lot of us think, oh, I had the baby, that's it, and I'm breastfeeding, but you still impacting that baby with what you're eating. So it's a time as a mother that we need to set aside and be totally giving. We just have to give everything to that child because that is our role as a mother. Breastfeeding, they try to tell you don't breastfeed, but that is giving them what they need. And think about it. If everything in that child is single file at birth and we giving them breast milk, right? And we're not eating healthy, we're not eating what we need, we're not nourishing them the way we should, we have already started tainting their DNA. We've already started to taint it. Whether it's over the counter drugs or maybe an aspirin here, or we eating junk food, the stuff that's fried in the bad oils, or we eating a lot of processed foods, we're not eating from nature, the fruits and vegetables. All of that encompasses, all of it encompasses their health. It's so, so, so important. I have this friend, and every time she was pregnant, she had 9 children. She had cravings. Every day she goes, oh, what do I feel like? What do I feel? I said, I don't eat like that. I eat like what's good for my baby. But that was not her concern. Her concern was what she had a taste for. And I just I have strong feelings, let's say, about that, because the facts are that with what is it, 50%, 54% of the US children are chronically ill. Okay? And chronically ill. Chronically, it's not you have a cold and it goes away. Chronically, it's consistent. It's consistent, remains consistent. Obesity and autism are the two leading health issues amongst children. And that is so crazy. But obesity, we can see why. They're sitting in the house, they're playing games, they're not going outside like we used to. I mean, we used to go out at daylight and come in at before the sunset. And that doesn't happen anymore. Also, autism, they found, has a lot to do with mineral lead and mercury toxicity. Now, I found this interesting. I said, let me go play with AI. So I asked AI about autism, and they said, "Oh, I said the vaccines. What's the ingredients in the vaccines? These childhood vaccines?" They said, "Oh no, there's no lead or mercury in it." And I'm like, "You're a liar. You're a liar." Because it's been found. I remember years ago, I went to a webinar, no, a symposium in Atlanta, what the cell is going on. And there was this mother, and my heart, 9 months, she had her daughter, she nourished this baby. She had this beautiful baby girl, healthy, everything. And then she gave her those shots that the doctor said she needed, those childhood shots. The woman lost her baby. And when I tell you that was the hardest thing to sit through and hear her story. She gave us all the ingredients in the vaccine. And the doctor said, they were sympathetic because they will say that's the routine thing they give you, but they don't care about what happens when you go home. You have to deal with it. You have to deal with the swelling. You have to deal with the fever. You have to deal with all of these things. And she became an advocate for against the shots because of what it did to her daughter. There was swelling on her brain, and then she eventually she passed away. But I tell you, it just broke my heart because you go through 9 months, you read into the baby, you're talking to it, you select this uh, specific name that you want to call your miracle, and then it's taken from you because of something that they put into the child that was single file aligned, healthy. The body was absorbing what it needed to through that umbilical cord. You were feeding it as a mom. Everything was perfectly aligned, and then we put a foreign subject into the body, and it causes all kind of confusion in the body. So I'm sorry. This is just. I tell you, we've got to protect the children. We've got to protect the children. And then also, it says 1 in 10,000 in the 1970s to 1 in 38 today is the number of autistic children. So someone said the 90s. I thought it was before that. So it's the 1970s. And I think they called it a different name because they change names like when something isn't too many people figure out what they do and they kind of tweak it. They go change the definition in the Wikipedia. Same thing. They change the definition, and it's just that as parents, we can go to them for information, but I think at the time when they tell us the child is autistic, we need to be looking for our own solutions because they're not going to give you what you need to hear because the products they gave you to shoot in your child is the cause of it. And they can say what they want, but in my heart of hearts, I know that is part of their what's the word I want to use? They're magic, and if they can confound or a family, if they can break up the family by having a child where you can't nurture in the normal way the Most High did wanted us to, then they're happy with that, because what you've created here with autism is a lifelong connection to manage. They manage your child and your mental health as the parent dealing with this. They're managing this as well. So when they say that this is affects, it challenges the social interaction, the communication, and the medical health and behavior. Yeah, it's not only yours it's impacting the child as well, more so the child than yours, but you've got to deal with it every day, every minute, every hour. You've got to deal with it. And I mean, they've made a special program in the schools for it now as well, that they call it the special needs, for the children with the special needs, the ADHD. All of that is that I have that under that same umbrella with the autistic child. So let's take a look at what we need to be feeding on and giving the children, because these vitamins and minerals are needed for the mom to make sure that she is doing during the 9 months. The magnesium, which supports the sleep, sensory processing, and calming. And it's also important for the B vitamins, the B6, zinc, and all of these you will hear. This is nothing new, because we were children once, right? And we needed that, and we still as adults need it because of all the stuff they're taking out of the food. Shalom, Sister Ebony. How are my girls? All right, and then we also have zinc, another mineral frequently low in autistic children. And zinc is so important to me. I know for my day to day, I can't imagine for the children. And if they're low, which typically when a child is born healthy, all of these levels, the magnesium, the zinc, the iron, the selenium, the iodine, all of this is already in the right levels if the mother was taking what she needed, right? And if they're born with it low, that's a problem. That is a serious problem. And we know that if this is frequently low in autistic children, we need to think about how do we get their levels up? How do we get their levels up? Then we also have iron that's important. That low ferritin is common in autistic children, and low iron is linked to sleep issues, attention problems, and developmental delays. So, what are we seeing with autistic children? There are a lot of delays. There are developmentally attention problems. And then we also have selenium, which supports the antioxidant pathways. And remember, antioxidant is fighting off the oxidation, which causes inflammation in the body. And selenium also helps reduce that oxidative stress, which we want that for those children. We want to reduce that as much as possible. And we also, another thing, there's lithium, and we're not talking prescription, it's nutritional lithium, which it's important for mood regulation and neuroprotection, protecting the neurons in the body. They don't talk about that at all. And iodine supports the thyroid function, which affects the development. And if deficient, your baby is not going to be, it's the brain house. Every cell in the body needs iodine. And that Every pregnant mom I know, I always try to tell them, make sure you're taking your iodine. Make sure you've got your iodine because that's the brain. That's the brain development. We need that. Other natural supports, we have omegas they need. We have the DHA, the EPA, which improves their attention, their language, and emotional. It helps with the emotional balance. Probiotics and gut supportive foods are also important. Remember, the brain, the we have the brain here, but the gut is the second brain. And some children will show improvement if you get the digestion right, the sleep, and the behavior with the right foods, the right nutrition. We can fix this thing. Now, according to science in the medical community, there is no cure for autism, but I don't believe that. I do not believe that because the Most High gave us everything we needed in the 6 days that He created. We can heal this through nourishment, nutrition, through the food. So for the parents out there who have children that are suffering or they see signs of it, take a look at what you are feeding them, what you are fueling them with. And a lot of parents you'll hear say, oh, they don't like this, they don't like that. Well, let me tell you something. When I was growing up, we had to eat what was set in front of us. We didn't have a choice. And we need to get back to that. We need to return to those days where, you taught the children where the food came from, and when they knew where it came from, they also appreciated it more. There are some children that think that the fruits and vegetables come from the grocery store. Imagine that. And it's tough to tell somebody sitting here in my chair and tell what how to feed your children because everybody's different. But I'm coming from the standpoint of what nature gives us as food to fuel our body, how the Most High tells us what we need to eat. He gave us the dietary laws. He gave us the fruit, the herb yielding fruits and the herbs. And if we just tweak that, and we're creative people, we can make anything taste good. So we can't say, well, they don't like that. Have we tried a different way? Have we tried a different alternative to help them? So let's look at that because I believe that we can just show them the benefit. And as parents, we can't allow the school system to teach our children. We have to teach them at home the fundamentals, right? And here's something that really blew me away. The critical stages of the fetal brain development, okay? And look at this. This is why the nourishment the mom gives, and the dads give the sperm, but it's important that they are nourishing their body too. It's not the mom only, the mom only. It's important that they have given everything in uh, that that time when you looking to get pregnant, or if it's a oopsie. Still, you want to make sure you're nourishing your body properly because you want to be healthy. In the 2 to 3 week time, we talking the 40 weeks, which is their 9 months, okay? Although it says 10 in scripture, the neural plate is forming, okay? Week 2 to 3. Week 3 to 4, the neural tube formation and closure. I mean, this is amazing, all of this that's going on. And if we're not giving that baby iodine, we're not giving it the nourishment it needs, the magnesium, the selenium, the zinc. All of this is not going to happen in the proper manner. And the thing is, the white coats are counting on that. Therefore, that's what they're pushing when they give the shot. They're pushing, let's make sure that these they target it and they have time release things in the shot. Time release, what do I want to call it? Poison. That's what it is. And it is messing up the body. And look at the slide there, the heavy metals and the endocrine system. So why I use that slide, you may wonder, well, why the endocrine system? Because the endocrine is the glands. The brain is the glands. We've got the hypothalamus, the pineal, and what's the other one? The hypothalamus, the pineal, and oh gosh, it's I can't think of it. But we need all three of them, and the thyroid, so important in that development from that fetal brain to birth. We have to have it. And even now, the heavy metals that we get as adults, as we were getting it from back in childhood, a lot of that is releasing now in our bodies. And if our body is not healthy, we too will have challenges. It wouldn't be considered autism, but you've heard of Alzheimer's. We've heard of mental illness or what? Yeah, mental illness. There's a huge thing with the just being able to keep with the chaos that's going on in the world today. There's so much mental illness, and they're giving so many prescriptions to you to help you focus, to take the anxiety down. I mean, the blood pressure, all of this. All of these are critical to that endocrine system. It has to, we have to focus on that because those heavy metals are affecting how everything is running inside our system. And think of our body as like a car. You've got the engine, right? That engine, that car is not going to run without oil. It's not going to run without gas. The same thing. If we don't feed this endocrine system the right foods, like last week we talked about the adrenals and how if we're not getting the right foods to the adrenals, we may be eating them, but if our adrenal is weak and not supported, it's not going to make any difference. We're wasting our time. So it's up to us to get serious about what we are putting in our body. Tahar, Shalom, sis. How are you? Long time. I was talking about you the other day. And then also look at what's really going on here, because we have the worldview and we have the Most High's view. Or should I change that? The Most High's view and the worldview. And they give us a vaccination schedule. And look at all these shots. And if you knew there's mercury in there, what's it called? Tyrosol, thimerosal. Okay. In the world, the Bible or the worldview, the Most High's view, right? Every child is created intentionally by the Most High with purpose and value. We have differences in our mind or in our bodies, but it's all divine. We've all been created in divine nature. And then in the worldview, we have autism, and it's a variation of our human neurology. The Most High put everything in perfect order, and what the worldview is doing is changing up our neurological system. Not only that, although in Scripture it doesn't name autism specifically, but it just lets us know that there was a fall and all the things that happened during that fall, right? And the combination of what we have as far as the genetics, we know what we have. We know we have the prenatal development, and we know that the worldview, they're putting so much, tainting so much in the supplements that you can't trust it. So we have to take a look at what nature will give us that will counteract that, and make sure that if you're not good, if you're one of these people who you want to go by what the science says and all that, take a look at what the science in nature gave you. And I've listed a few things here, right? We have the natural fruit chelators are wild blueberries. Now, a lot of people just eat blueberries, but the wild blueberries have the most nutrients in it. They're smaller and they're so good. So if you can get the wild blueberries, feed those to the children. And if you cannot get the children to eat the blueberries, try doing a smoothie. As parents, have them help you cook, have them help you, with making the smoothie. Let them be a part of it. And if you need to add some sugar in there, get a good sugar, but no, don't do too much. And explain to them why, because a lot of times we just say because I said so. But the children are so much smarter these days. You can't just tell them that. So if we just show them why and tell them why, they will begin to understand, because we know that there's so many deficiencies in nature today because of what they've taken out of the foods. Remember, the soil used to have over 80 minerals in it, and now they only require 3. What does that tell you? What does that tell? There's an imbalance there. So if you look at the nutrition, inflammation, and gut health influence, those are all part of the symptoms of autism. And if we want to fix it, we need to look at the deficiencies. Okay, we have iron deficiency in pregnancy. And also there's a lot of children now are having iron deficiencies. Okay, we have zinc and copper imbalance. Okay. And magnesium, again, the omegas, and the gut. Now, I don't know if most autistic children are C-section. I'm not sure. Oh my gosh, that just came to me. I wonder, because a lot of times with C-sections, they're missing a lot of the probiotics they need in that gut, and that makes a difference. And remember, we went to the book with Super Gut with Dr. William Davis. I've got to research that. But I'm running out of time, so let me just move on quickly here. So get in the kitchen with the children, family. Make sure they understand that the fruits that you can use and the vegetables that you can eat to give them what they need. If you look at removing the heavy metals from the body, there's cilantro, there's parsley, and I love boron for that. Boron, zeolite, that helps pull it out. And we also have other items that you can use to help pull it out. And don't forget, remember we talked about tobacco being a panacea and how it helps. It's a panacea being a cure all for everything. That panacea can help as well because you can do a patch on an autistic child now. A tobacco patch will help give them focus. And I know that may sound crazy. There's probably a few scientific studies on it, but if you go and look at Dr. Artis, he talks about the benefit of tobacco and how important it is to help heal a plethora all across the medical spectrum of diseases. There's healing going on because of what the tobacco intake in the body. Now you can do foot baths with that. You're not smoking it. We're just using it medicinally. You can do tinctures as well. But don't forget that. And then we also, don't forget your fruits. High in vitamin C, the golden kiwi is one of them. Organic strawberries. I planted my strawberries yesterday. I'm hoping they come out good this year. You've got oranges, lemons, papaya, cantaloupe, honeydew. And remember with the melons, family, when you eat melons, don't mix it with the other berries. Eat the melons by itself so you get the core benefit from the melons. If it's honeydew, if it's cantaloupe, if it's watermelon, eat that by itself. And for those who are diabetic, remember the seeds in the watermelon are nature's insulin. Okay, now, I've got 7 minutes. So I love this picture here because so many children do not know how things are brought to the table, from the farm to the table. And I like to connect the dots here. We have a program here in Nashville at one of the farms I volunteer at. And we have a program where we bring the children out and we show them how to plant. They get to play in the dirt. It's very healing for them because you connect into the earth's energy. And they learn how to bring from a seed to food on the table. And it's such a more meaningful experience for them when they have that food and they can eat it and understand where it came from. It's amazing. So if we can do that for them, and there's so many recipes out there that you can use that will help them. And if anybody needs recipes for the children with autism, send me an email. I'll be more than happy to send you what I have. I didn't want to create too much going on here today, but remember, the whole thing here with the autism is messing up the neurological. That neurofunction, the endocrine system is an important part of who we are. It's an important part of our brain cells, the hypothalamus, the pineal, the parathyroid, the thyroid. All of that is critical to our thinking and who we are. And if we can feed the body what it needs for that, first of all, we want to remove the toxins, pull the heavy metals out of it. You can actually do a lot of the teas you can do, and you can make a tea for the children. It's kind of hard to give the children a tea, but if you mask it in their hot chocolate or something, they would know. Oh, again, you create something that they have, that smoothie, or an ice cream. Cacao is excellent in ice cream. You make your own chocolate ice cream and they can be getting that nourishment without even knowing that how healthy it is for them. But it's up to us to understand that as parents. Then we also want to make sure that in the whole life cycle there for the children, for the brain development from the week 2 all the way to week 40, we want to make sure that we are getting the brain the most which is the most sensitive to nutrition and toxins and stress and environmental influences. We want to make sure, as mom, you are making sure you're in a calm state. You're not in a stressed state. You're not putting toxins in your body. You're able to connect with baby as well, whether it's in music. And it doesn't have to be music with song words, it could just be instrumental. And just have a place where you connect, reading the Bible. All of this is going to help build that body stronger. So even if they did have those shots, it's easier for them to get rid of them when you start detoxing them from it. And we have to remember, children learn what they live. If you show them, even now, today, say tomorrow, you're like, okay, kids, we're going to change how we do things. We sit down as a family, we map out a plan. Let's go get some seeds. What's your favorite foods? Let's start building something there, right? And we have if you're in an apartment, you have a container gardening. Plant some potatoes, plant some herbs, and let them know what it's for. Show them, oh, let's make some mint tea. Make some mint and lemon tea with some ice cubes and everything, in a colorful glass, and give them a straw. They're going to drink it. And it's better than the soda, right? And then we can also just have them one night, they choose what's for supper. And yes, give them some guidance, but let them choose, because you want them to be in that mindset in preparing, so that they feel that they're part of it, and let them know why it's so important. Why, I remember back in the day, Little House on the Prairie, they were in the kitchen with mom, and that's what we need to do. We need to get them in the kitchen and get them understanding why this fruit is so good. And if they don't like the fruit, maybe they need it dried. Maybe they need it in a smoothie. Maybe they need it in ice cream. Maybe they need to have it in a cake form first. And then show them, oh, you had it in cake and you liked it. Here, let's do something else. We have to be creative and make it a creative experience for them. Because, we can't focus on the worldview. We've gone beyond that. The times we live in, we need to focus on the Most High's view. And we need to pull what He has given us in nature. There's boron drops you can get, and it doesn't have a taste. You can get that at vitacost.com and start pulling those heavy metals out. And you would be amazed with just sea salt in the water or sea salt in the drink that you're giving them. That's going to help give them the minerals that they need as well. We just have to rethink how we do it. We have to rethink how we feeding them and nourishing them, because we have to nourish their minds first, along with the body. Because the world is going to give them their junk, but we have to make sure we have our hands around their whole experience, because the Most High gave us that. We want to purge out and let what nature gave us make our children clean, because nature, the worldview will give you everything bad. I was somewhere the other day, and the children, I think it was McDonald's. I was doing something, and I'm like, ooh, that's human meat. I wanted to tell the people, that's human meat you're giving your child, but I didn't want to get cussed out, or who else knows what else they would tell me. But yeah, as caregivers to the Most High's children, it's up to us to personally apply the scriptures, the dietary laws, get them out there, and get those minerals in their body. The iodine, you can give them in small doses. You can give them kefir, and you can give them make the own yogurt. We've gone through where we make our own yogurt. And if you've had C-sections, moms, please email me and I can give you the protocol for the moms who since they didn't go through the birth canal, they're missing a lot of the critical nutrients for their microbiome, their gut microbiome, and we want to restore that because believe it or not, if they had everything they needed without their shots, you'd be surprised how much calmer they will be, how much healthier they will be, their sleep will be better. And I didn't even go into the essential oils. We'll have to do that another time. But yes, there's nature was here first. And make sure you're giving them the minerals we talked about, the iodine, critical. Even at this state, if they have any type of autism, they need that iodine. And then also, another thing that you may want to do is make your fruits and make ice cubes and put it in their drinks, and they would love that. They'll think they're having an exotic drink with the ice cubes with their fruits in it, and that's another way to give it to them. So please, just remember, the Most High said, "Suffer not the little children to come unto me." And I tell you, they are our most precious resource. It's up to us because we didn't know better, but we have to forgive ourselves first and then go ahead and stop beating ourselves up. We just need to work within the parameters that we now know that we have, that we can use. Because I believe the Most High, Christ said, "I came to heal the sick." So let's have him heal our children. And suffer not the little children to come unto me, he says. He says that in 3 or 4 places in Scripture. So let's have him help us. Let's have him help us heal our children because we need them. They're going to take us into that kingdom one day soon. And with that, it's time. So let me wrap it up. I thank you for your time, for your chat. Ebony, you're so right. Oh, let's see. Oh no, they're not going to push. They will not push supplements. That's not part of their narrative. That's up to us. And yeah, IV hydration. Yes, but you know what? You got to know who you're doing that with and what they're doing, because I don't trust everybody's cleanliness. So yeah, but that's something that's really popular right now, is that IV therapy. There's the Mop Thai cocktail that's supposed to be awesome and you feel amazing after. But I might have to go into that and do a show on that because there is some benefit to it. So thank you, Tahar. That's a good thought. I'll look into that too. All right. Well, with that, I'm going to let y'all get back to your day. But remember, our precious children, let's protect them. And we can detox naturally. Again, the cilantro and the parsley. Season your meat, your food, your rice, everything with that. Make your guacamole and all that with it. Let them have that. Put it in their salad. And it will detox them slowly. And then we've got to also do the lymphatic with them to help pull it out of their system. And you can go back on old shows and see how to do your lymphatic drainage. You can show them how to exercise and do that. And it's a process, but it can be done. Don't think there's no hope. It can be done. Email me and we'll talk soon. Shalom. Much love. Mwah. The water, the water, the water.
And feel alive. With Sister MJ, we thrive. Grains and fruits in every bite. Feel the energy, feel the light. Harmony
Oh yes.
in every every
It's time for our
part.
food challenge, y'all.
Naturally
I'm getting ready to do that
with all
food
your
challenge. Gotta clean
heart.
out all these vessels, these neurons, and all this toxicity out, out, out. Legend.